Hi, and welcome to another edition of Encounter. So glad that you can join us this week. Now, this week on Encounters, I want to talk about traffic lights. Yeah, for all you drivers out there and for those of you who love to be driven, traffic lights, right? Some people just love to be in a hurry, right? They just want things really, really fast, on the go, all the time. It must happen quick for them. But you see, when we go too fast, we can miss a lot. Slowing down and stopping can be good at times, believe it or not. Look, I remember when I was stopped at a traffic light, and while waiting there, I just looked around and I said to myself, hey, I never noticed that sign over there. You know, perhaps it had been there for a long time and I always missed it. Perhaps it had been there only recently. But if I hadn't stopped and taken a good look, then I would have missed it again. You know, just sitting right there, this Bible verse came to me from Psalms chapter 46 and verse 10. And this is God speaking. He says, listen, be still and know that I am God. You know, we don't mind stopping at traffic lights when we have plenty of time. You know, when we're not in a hurry, when we're ahead of our schedule, right? And when we're in control, so to speak. But you see, when we're late, and when we're behind time and behind on a busy schedule, the worst thing we can encounter are traffic lights that are on red and traffic jams. Yeah, and you know what happens, right? Stuck in traffic, we're late, and we're really busy, and all of a sudden, everything and everyone that's not moving at the speed that we would like becomes a whole lot more upsetting. You know, sometimes you can even go into a rage. Hey, listen, the lights are not changing fast enough. That car in front of you is just not moving. But guess what? He's stuck in traffic just like you are. You know, sometimes we just don't realize that we are not in control of our flow. Yeah? Not until we're stuck in a jam, stuck in a rut, or between a rock and a hard place. But it's not until we stand still and stop moving and stop busying ourselves that we can see what God, who controls the flow, wants to show us. Yeah, it is only then we can hear what God is trying to say to us. You know, for most of this year, virtually the entire world had to stand still. World economies failed and businesses and public systems shut down, and many persons had to stand still outside their own country, and those at home had to stand still at home because of so many restrictions. Listen, God is directing the flow of your life, and He just wants our attention. And here's how it goes. You're waiting in line at the intersection. A few cars ahead of you. The lights change from red to green, and you start moving again. And because you want to drive two cars at the same time, you say to the car in front of you, just go, drive. Just because you want to get through the lights. But guess what? God may be just saying, no. And the lights change back to red, and you stop right there on the white line. Hey, but you need to go, right? You need to go, but that red light, you know, you have so much to achieve, but that red light, you've been succeeding and doing so well, but that red light. So what do I do? Yeah, if I keep going on the red light, that spells danger for me and for somebody else. You know, so many accidents have happened when people just run through red lights when they should have stopped. See, the issues of life can box us in. Red light in front, traffic on either side, and even behind you. You can't move and you're stuck. Nowhere to go and nothing we can do about it. You know, at one time, you know, businesses were doing so well, but now it isn't. And it's failing, and the bank still wants the payments. You know, I just got this new job and was only just starting to see my way again, just a little bit. And all of a sudden, I get laid off. Still have rent to pay and mortgage to pay and a family to provide for. But right there at the red light, hear God saying, be still and know that I am God. Listen, it is during your worst moments, your lowest points, your most painful experiences that you will truly know who you are. And you will truly know who some people are as well. And guess what? You will know who God really is. Because listen, if you don't know Him, He wants you to know Him. And if you already know Him, He just wants you to know Him so much more. And always remember this, as I say, your peace comes at the point of your surrender. The point where you release everything in your hands and in your heart and turn it over to God. Cry out to God and ask Him to show you what He wants you to see and to tell you what He wants you to hear. Yes, the issues of life, they are real because we feel the pain, we feel the pressure, no disputing that fact. But we don't surrender to the issues. We surrender to the very God who controls the issues. Hey, listen, when we surrender to the issues of life, we experience fear and worry and anxiety and depression and hopelessness. But when we surrender to God, we experience His peace and His power. And if we take time to see and time to listen, then we will understand His purpose. Sometimes we want what we want, the way we want it, or when we want it. Listen, when in truth and in fact, it serves us no real benefit and our vision is just so much more limited. Hey, listen, you may cry, Lord, well, why don't you just change my situation for me? And God just says, no, I'm trying to change you for your next situation ahead. Why? Because, listen, there will be more traffic lights further down the road. And there are certain things you need to adjust in your life. Certain attitudes, mindset, your position in relation to God. Listen, the neighbor that I haven't spoken to, the relationships in my family that I need to fix, that person I need to forgive, the compassion I need to show. So many things and people taken for granted, and so many changes I need to make before that red light changes again. Hey, you may find that the things that we rush toward, those cares and pursuits of this life that we drive so hastily towards and that drive us around and around and consume all of our time and energies, these things are not the most important things in life. No, not until we stop at the lights and have nowhere to go that we have a good chance to see and appreciate the things and the people that really, really matter. Look, just a few days ago, I was leaving for work and I saw a massive traffic jam that blocked my junction. And my first thoughts were, oh man, this is gonna make me late for work. I hope this doesn't take too long. And when I got to the junction, I saw the reason. It was a really bad car accident. And at that moment, I just prayed that no one lost their life. Listen, sitting there, waiting and observing what was taking place, I just had to intentionally change my mindset regarding that situation. Why? Get this, some things matter a whole lot less when we encounter those things that matter a whole lot more. I was positioned where I could see the reason for the traffic jam. But think about it. Sometimes even seeing the reason doesn't cause us to respond any differently, does it? Sometimes God will cause us to be positioned where we are able to see the reason for our situations. But does that change our response? Or do we still complain? Do we still get angry, become selfish, lose hope, or don't trust? But that is one position. Most of the times, we will be positioned at the back of the line, around the corner from the scene of the traffic jam. God will cause us to be positioned where we cannot see and where we don't know the reason why we get stuck, why we're stopped, or why we have been delayed. And the only response He wants from you is to trust Him. To trust that His plan is better. To trust His will and purpose for you. Can you trust God when you can't see the reason for your trouble? When you can't understand the reason for your pain? Listen, that is when He says, be still and know that I am God. God wants us to be able to trust Him, not just for one season of our lives or in one situation, but in every season of our lives, at every intersection, at every red light. And at those times, we will pray with bold faith, Lord, if it is your will, don't change this situation for me. Change me for this situation, and see what God is able to do. Hey, let me encourage you. Be vigilant. Don't lose your gaze. Instead, keep your focus on God, because before you know it, the lights will change and it's time to start moving again. Hey, I've got the green light, time to go.
Hey, let me encourage you. I don't know what your red light situation is, but don't miss God's opportunity. They don't come on the green light. Your real life-changing opportunities will come when you're stopped, waiting right there on that red light.